everyone. This is another video in a series on organisation and planning. Today we are going to be looking at how to approach an assessment task. So, you get the assessment task notification. It's big, it's daunting, it looks like a lot of work. How do we approach it? Well, today I'm going to give you some strategies on how to do that. And it's important that you follow this step by step for every single task that you do. The first is, look at the task and think, what is the point of this task? Why has my teacher given this to me? What are they assessing? A lot of assessment tasks are designed to assess your learning. Have you grasped a particular concept? Do you understand particular content and how that can be transferred to different contexts? So the first thing you need to do is think about the purpose of the assignment. Once you have that down, it's going to be so much easier to plan your response. The second thing you need to do is look at the marking criteria if they gave it to you. If the marking criteria hasn't been supplied, that might be for an essay. Sometimes we withhold the marking criteria because the criteria is explicitly linked to the question and we want the question to be unseen. Think about previous tasks that have had a similar structure. Look at a past criteria or even ask your teachers for an old paper or an old version of the task with a similar criteria so you can see what needs to be done to achieve well in this task. Break the criteria down. A lot of tasks use teacher language, and so it can be a little tricky for you to fully understand what you need to do. You can break this marking criteria down in a couple of different ways. First, take it to your teacher and say, "Miss, what does it mean when I have to write using language appropriate to audience, purpose and form?" And hopefully your teacher will be able to explain that to you. Make sure you take a notebook so you can write down the things that they say. Then create a nice little mind map for every single marking criteria, which has all the different sections broken down. That itself turns into a bit of a checklist for you when completing your assignment. The second thing you need to do, and this is super obvious, but sometimes we don't always do it, you need to read the instructions. All of this needs to happen the day you get the assignment. It's really important. Sometimes you only have 2 weeks to get this done, and the expectation is that you are chipping away in preparation for this assessment task in those 2 weeks. So that requires a little bit of time every day. Read the instructions and think about, what do I need to do? Again, break these instructions down into small, manageable sections. If you've seen my video on the on-the-go list, I think it's really important when planning for our assessment tasks, we also think about breaking this task down into small sections. And don't write on your go list, do assignment. Again, it doesn't mean anything. Once you have thought about the purpose of the task, read the criteria, and read the instructions, and you've broken it into small sections, if you have any questions, ask your teacher. I know it's really surprising to understand this, but your teachers are actually here to help you. And I know it's incredibly scary going to some staff rooms, but again, your teachers are there to help. Pro tips for approaching your teacher. Don't bail them up in a corridor on the way to class or roll call. Try not to visit at recess. That's a very small window where we can, go to the bathroom and try and shovel some food in our mouths. Think about when might be an appropriate time. Even if you see your teacher and you'll say, "Hey miss, I'd like to ask you some questions about the assessment task. What is a time good for you that we can sit down and talk about it?" That's the go-to sentence for your teachers, girls. They can't really say no to that. So as long as you have a planned, thoughtful, organised meeting time with your teacher, they're going to be in an excellent frame of mind to help you out. Make sure you ask questions of the task and make sure if there's anything that you're not sure about, ask. The amount of students that I have that have assignments returned like, "Oh yeah, I didn't really get that bit." Ask the question. Also, if a particular assessment task is a topic test, try and get your hands on some practices. Writing under time conditions in response to unseen questions is super tricky, and it's a skill that can only get better with practice. So make sure that you're giving practice tests a red hot go. Lastly, once you have your plan and your organisation for your assessment task, stick to it. We are only accountable to us. The amount of students that I have are just like, "Oh yeah, I just didn't do it." Doesn't hurt me that you didn't do it. It hurts you. So be accountable and take some responsibility. These feelings continue well into adulthood. Believe me, there are plenty of tasks that I don't want to do half of the time in my job, but I still have to because it's my job and that's the expectation of me. So make sure that you're accountable to yourself and that you are sticking to the plan you set out. If you have any further questions about breaking down an assessment task or planning for an assessment task, just post them below. See ya!